podcast. I'm Wes McBee, and today we are sponsored by Monarch Social. Are you looking to take the next step and get your own website? Look no further than Monarch Social. Affordable, cutting edge, and designed with user experience in mind. Monarch Social will not only get your website started for you, they can also host it and get you set up with a starter SEO package. Head over to monarchsocialbrand.com for more information. Also, Dark Prime Collectibles. I want to reiterate from last week, May 28th is the soft launch date for the return of in-store play for Magic the Gathering and other associated games. This is super exciting, and I promise you, the community at Dark Prime Collectibles is one of the best. Welcoming, friendly, and fun. They'll teach you how to play the games if you want to learn, or they can reintroduce you to the new meta. It's a lot of fun up there. I love going. I personally go every week. If you're looking for a new place to play, and when in-store opens back up, or you want to look at their product list, head over to darkprimecollectibles.com or check out their location at 354 State Street, Clearfield, Utah 84015. Last but not least, Heppius. It is the #1 place to go for premium CBD that won't break the bank. It is locally owned and sourced here in Utah, and it is safe for work, meaning no THC. They have something for everyone, and I personally use the #2 broad spectrum. I have it right here. It's a daily use for me. Like I've said before, I love it. Gives me a little bit more perk up. Just gives me what I want. You can head over to happiestmed.com, and that is HEPIUSMED.com. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring. Keaton, welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to get into everything that is going on in your world because you are, at least in my eyes, I think that you are in the process of becoming the next big thing here in Utah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, so to give the backstory, you are the owner of, just pronounce your name one more time for me.
It's Scadden.
Scadden Insurance Agency, and then you are the CEO of TNT Social Media.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to get into insurance as a whole. Because I want you to kind of explain to me what you do in insurance. Like if I was a customer who just walked in your door and be like, hey, I know nothing.
Sure. So most people don't know what they have a lot of the time. They just know that if they own a car, if they own a house, if they own a business, that they just have to have it and it's another bill, right?
Right.
So my job as an insurance agent, there's a lot of, no offense, but there's a lot of insurance agents out there that are solely focus on price, and that's not how I see myself. I don't even see myself as an insurance agent. I see myself as a risk advisor, specifically when you're talking about commercially ran businesses or just businesses in general, because a lot of these commercial businesses, like the small medium enterprise type companies, they can't afford to have a huge loss, so they can't afford to be sued. They can go under, whereas like these large enterprise companies, they see the value in insurance, they buy the insurance, but they also have enough money in the bank to sustain a loss. So that's kind of where I come into the equation, where I come in. I'm not even your insurance agent, I'm your risk advisor. So let's just sit down, let's have a conversation about what particular risks your company may face. So maybe you're in a healthcare sector and you have to worry about HIPAA. I have free cyber liability risk assessments and companies that actually provide you with the tools along with the policy, and even tell you if you're ever breached from a cybersecurity incident. Hey, by the way, you've been breached. We've already filed a claim on your behalf. What other insurance company do you know that actually wants to pay out on their claim? But I have companies that do that, and I provide like a full 20-plus page report that scans your entire organization and tells you what your internal employees are doing. Sometimes you got to be careful because sometimes, we'll just leave it at that. There's some interesting stuff you can find, but for example, there was a client I consulted. Back in the day, I used to do IT consulting, so that's why I've kind of gravitated towards like cyber liability insurance. And one of my past clients, I reached out to him, I scanned his network he gave me permission to run my tool with this cyber risk company. That's all they do is cyber liability insurance. And I scanned his network and I said, oh, by the way, your enterprise level firewall, it's vulnerable right now. There's a known vulnerability and your firewall is not patched. And a hacker could come in here, create an account and get in your organization. He took a meeting so fast, it was hilarious. So,
well, I mean, if you look at what's going on in the news right now, we know how important cybersecurity is.
It just seems like over the last couple of weeks, I've just been hearing about all these retail stores that have been getting hacked. My parents went into a retail store, and they're like, our systems have been down for a week, and my mom's friend works there, and we went up to her, and she was like, hey, you didn't hear this from me, because they were like, oh, we'll just come back and purchase our stuff later. You didn't hear this from me, but our stuff's been down for a week. We're hacked. We have a ransom. We've been hit with some ransomware. So it's growing very rampant. Another thing I also like to do is I can take a look at your workers' comp insurance, and a lot of people don't know this, but there are certain industries and certain industries, as well as certain employee-sized organizations, that are required to file what's called their OSHA, Occupational Safety Health Administration. So March 2nd of every year is like tax season for OSHA. There's specific companies where if you don't file, you'll get audited by OSHA. An OSHA officer will come in, audit your business, and you can face some hefty fines. So I help mitigate with that. I help come in. I have software that allows you to track workplace incidents and file your OSHA filings electronically with a click of a button.
Ooh, be nice.
So it's very slick, very easy to use, and very detailed reporting to provide to an OSHA inspector if they do come into your business. And probably the coolest piece about this tool is the fact that a lot of people don't know this, but in insurance, when you have workers' comp, when it comes to workers' comp, you have what's called a mod score. So that's a score that a bunch of factors make up that the insurance companies calculate to give you a cost for your insurance. But a lot of people don't know that you actually have influence over 60% of that score, and that's what the tool helps you do. It lets you get insight into what's causing your workers' comp to be so high, so that you can be proactive with the problem. And also, a lot of agents aren't doing that as well. So when I come into these companies, it's like, well, why isn't your current agent doing this for you? What else aren't they doing for you?
Right.
Is kind of where the discussion ends up going. So that's on the commercial side of the house. When it comes to like auto insurance and car insurance, the conversation's a little bit different, but still kind of the same. Like, most people don't know what they have until something happens, right? So a lot of people are like, insurance is a scam. I'm like, no, it's not a scam if it's set up properly or you understand what you have. Insurance can work for you and not against you if it's set up properly, but it's a lot of the time we just think, oh, cheap. Cheaper isn't always better, you know? But it's just been all these big brand name companies. I won't mention names, but we know Geico, but it's been bashed into our heads that, it's just become like commoditized. Yeah, it's all just it's become about price, and that's not always the best. Price, it's an important piece, but you can't have price and everything. You sacrifice something.
You definitely pay for what you get.
But probably the biggest differentiator with me is that what I actually do with your policies is I actually come in, we'll do a review of your policies. I'll go down line item by line item with your auto and your home insurance and explain what the coverages are, and then explain with particular scenarios that I've experienced throughout my career across multiple states, because I used to work for a big brokerage I used to write insurance across 32 different states. So I've been able to see and hear all these types of scenarios, because I like to sell by stories, because people get that visual perspective in their mind. They don't understand it until it actually happens to them. So I go down line item by line item and just kind of explain the coverages, because I feel like a lot of agents don't use that. I like to use more of a consultative approach. Like, for example, with car insurance, so everybody in every state has to carry liability in the liability portion of a policy, okay? So there's two different coverages in Utah, one called uninsured and one called underinsured. So those are optional coverages. You don't have to purchase those. But let me paint a bigger story for you. So everybody has to carry liability coverage, right? So that protects other people from you. So uninsured and underinsured protects you from other people. So why would you pay money to protect other people from you, but not protect yourself from other people?
Right.
So you'd be surprised how many people try to get out of that. And it's just crazy. And there's different perspectives with home insurance, but we won't go into the details because, insurance is boring. We'll just say it. Insurance is boring, but I try to make it as fun as possible. And I like to help you understand what you have, because nothing's worse than paying for insurance and then having a claim and then being like, well, I wasn't told that, or if I had known that was an extra $50 or $100 a
Would've
year,
done it.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
Because your insurance at the end of the day is peace of mind. That's what you're paying for with insurance. Because it's nothing. It's just if XYZ happens, we pay. You're paying for something that's intangible. You can't touch it. So you're paying for peace of mind when it comes to insurance. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So,
and I think that's what puts you above the rest, is the fact that you're able to educate people and not make it over the top, make it over the head. Because you just took 10 minutes and explained a whole bunch of information that people probably had no idea,
mm-hmm.
and it makes sense. And I feel like in a lot of industries, insurance, social media, marketing, everything like that, it comes down to how well can you educate people.
Mm-hmm.
If you can educate people well, they're going to sign up with you. They're going to work with you. They see the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're just pushing numbers, like, you're just getting a piece of paper that's going to cover you for bare minimum because it's cheap.
Exactly. Yeah, you get what you pay for. And I just always try to live up to my patented slogan that's in 50 states for anything insurance related. And that is, just remember that Keaton can't be beaten. And I always have to explain that as well. Like, that doesn't mean I'm the cheapest price. I'm a broker, so I usually can get you a good in between with everything, because I have all the different companies. I'm able to broker it out for you. So I can work for my clients and not for the insurance companies, because a lot of agents can only sell one company,
right.
But I have multiple options. So I work for my client instead of the insurance company.
Right.
So,
and I think that's super important, because to get into like the mindset of it, right? You want to work with someone who's working for you, not for the industry, not for the company, because
right.
When they're working with you, they want you to be happy with the product, because at the end of the day, they want you to stick with them forever.
Yep.
I mean, that's called long-term mindset. I mean, if you're working with someone who wants that vision with you, stick with them. They care about you.
I do. I care about every single client like their family. So I even go out and source services that, for example, I have a friend that owns a business called Utah Accident Solutions. So not only do you get me assigned to your claim if you're ever in an accident, but you get my buddy as well, who he's been a prior insurance agent. He did medical handling of car accidents. He was a paralegal in a personal injury law office. So it's hard to replicate his business, but yeah, you get him assigned to your case, and it's 100% free from the victims, and they get that as just a value add of working with me. So they can rest assured that I have different services as well as contacts in place if they ever do experience where they need to use their insurance, because that's when the magic happens, and that's when you realize what you truly have, is when you go to use your insurance and it actually it works for you, not against you, because it's set up properly, right? So
we had a comment here from Call Sign Monk, who said, "I learned that when I got into an auto accident, never enough coverage."
Yeah,
I mean, it's true. I mean, I go through a local car insurance agency that they take care of me pretty decently. The same thing, I got into a head-on collision that wasn't my fault, and at the end of the day, I felt like I walked away kind of in a bad situation, because all that ended up happening. Now, I didn't sue, I didn't go after the person, even though I definitely could have. All that ended up happening was I was out of my car, like they covered my car, but when you're 20 something without 30 grand in the bank or whatever it is, it's not as easy just to go get a brand new car again.
Well, and who knows, like, for example, if you were to be hurt in that and there's lifelong health reasons, that's the purpose of this consultant that I work with. It's my friend that all my clients get for it's free for all my clients. It's free for the victims.
It's amazing.
He also helps you properly document everything that happens as well, which is very important, because heaven forbid you get in that accident. Oh, I'm fine. I'm a little sore. I'm not going to go see the chiropractor. I would recommend everyone do that, especially in Utah, specifically because Utah is what's called a no-fault state. It's one of the states that actually has that coverage. So you get $3,000 to go and get looked at. So I definitely recommend everyone to do that. But the purpose of that, with him specifically documenting things, is, like I said, heaven forbid you get in that accident, and then a couple weeks later, a month, 2 months later, you get another accident, and you didn't claim it then. The insurance company is going to deny the claim because they don't know where the injury happened. But so he helps properly document that so that you can have rest assured that you're going to be covered.
I think having that alone is just so amazing, because that's my situation too. Like I think a lot of people who get into car accidents, first couple months I was like, no. I mean, I went and got checked up, and like they said there was just minor wear and tear because of a car accident. But now to this day, like shoulder pain from it and all that type of stuff. And if I would have had proper documentation, I can potentially get it fixed on their dime instead of my own dime now.
Yep. It's all about having the proper documentation for sure, and that's the value you get from working with me. Rolling into like homeowners insurance, there's different coverages that different companies do offer that not a lot of people know about. If you own a home, you might have gotten something in the mail pretty recently, or probably over the last few years. They're like, did you know that the stuff under your house isn't covered because the utility companies are only responsible for the utility lines up to your property line? So there's specific coverage for, it's called service line coverage. There's specific coverage that covers that. And it actually happened. We had a windstorm here like maybe 6 months ago. My grandma's neighbor, their utility box was actually on their property line. And the utility company wasn't going to cover it because they're only responsible up to the properry line, and it got destroyed. Luckily, they had a good agent though, and they had coverage for it, or else they would have been out of pocket $9 grand. So it's little things like that that are very important to have your agent educate you on, or at least make you aware of, and then it's up to you to accept or reject that.
I think homeowners insurance, at least in my eyes, is one of the biggest ones that just kind of gets brushed like, oh yeah, we'll just whatever's the cheapest.
Set it and forget it, whatever's the cheapest. I don't want to spend $50 a year, and I'm like, $50 more a year, I'm going to go for the $50 less a month. Well, this one actually had this coverage, and you do realize when you buy insurance, you're not even paying for it. A lot of the time, you send it to your mortgage company, it gets paid from your escrow account. Yeah. So that's really, it just gets added to your mortgage payment, so that $50 turns into $4.25 a month over the year. It blows my mind how many people don't realize that. It's, it's just having an agent to sit down and explain, like, sure, this policy's $200 more, but that's $15 more a month. You're paying for that peace of mind. Would you rather have something happen and be like, oh man, I'm sweating bullets because I don't know if I'm going to be covered or not? Would you rather pay that extra $15?
Yeah, I mean, would you rather pay $15 or potentially get put in a situation where you truly are like,
you're out of luck?
Yeah, like, because I mean, that's the thing. Like, we both live here in Utah, and we talked about the windstorms. Natural occurring, I don't want to say disasters, but natural occurring situations happen all the time. Like, what happens if we get a windstorm and your fence blows down? What if the fence blows down and damages your neighbor's property? What if that's not covered?
Yeah, what if your brother? I'm dealing with this claim with a good friend of mine. What if your brother gets a promotion at work? He's not used to the new swing shift hours, and he's doing a water change on the fish tank, and it's a 200-gallon fish tank. He falls asleep, and it floods the entire upstairs, floods down into the basement, floods into the garage.
Yeah, what if that happens?
So there's tons of stories that I could tell you just that are similar to that, where it's like, I'm kind of glad because prior to this particular client, they're both brothers, but he lives with him and rents the downstairs from him. He was having trouble getting insurance because of his roof, but I had just gotten him a policy. He was uninsured, but luckily he got that policy for me because now guess what? That insurance company is going to cover that loss of like probably $30,000, $40,000 easy. Yeah. So
and for most people who are working, typical jobs, what are you going to do if you have to cover $30,000, $40,000?
Most average middle class Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. If you have $40,000 in the bank,
you're going to
cover a loss.
I mean, what do you do? Take out a loan, put it against the mortgage? Like, you're going to put yourself in a bad situation versus paying an extra $50 a month.
And it makes me laugh because I always get probably once a month or maybe once a quarter at the very least. I talk to someone about car insurance. Oh yeah, I don't get in accidents. I'm not going to get in an accident. I don't see the value in the insurance. So I'm like, yeah, because you just wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to get in an accident today.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I did door-to-door sales for security, right? And I was down in Texas, and the funniest rebuttal I've always got is like, well, I got guns in my house. And it's like, okay, so you're telling me if someone breaks in and you're gonna get in a shooting match with someone who doesn't value your life. It's like versus signing up for like a $60 a month security system where they're not gonna mess with your house. Like, it's preventative, right? Yeah, like, so it's just, of course, we don't want anyone to break in your house. We don't want you to get into an accident. We don't want any of that type
It's
of
all
stuff.
about having a multi-layered approach to things,
Yeah.
right? It's just like cyber liability and like having good cyber practices, right? You need a multi-layered approach to things of security, whatever it may be.
Has cybersecurity, like insurance, gotten to like a individual basis yet?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That it's just its own standalone product now with a lot of companies.
I think that's important.
The one that I specifically sell and I love does that report, and then they also include in it, like for an organization, it makes it the policy no-brainer because they include cybersecurity awareness training, antivirus. They're monitoring your network 24/7. You can call their team of 70 security engineers. They're monitoring your network at all times. You get access to white hat hacker groups and stuff.
Oh, wow.
It's really slick, and for like the average policy is maybe $1,500 to $2,500 per year. You could literally, if it's a good enough size organization, your antivirus is costing you that much a year. So it offsets it and it gives you the peace of mind to work with that company, and that company's awesome. The founder of the company actually. At 14, he worked on the NSA project at Microsoft and sold his first company to Microsoft at 15.
Yeah.
And went to start a company that protects websites. But I won't go into too much of the details of that. But it's there's really cool solutions coming out there, and that's there's what's called fintech, financial technology, but there's also what's called insurtech too. So there's a lot of technology that's being brought into insurance because the way of doing business with insurance has always been like there's been these same forms for 100 plus years, very old school. So that's where my agency is different, is we try to leverage the latest and greatest technology to be easy to do business with. That's what we like to say. So
I think it's fascinating too, because cybersecurity and hacking and all that type of stuff really isn't. It's starting to become a mainstream topic because we got like the gas pipeline that got hacked, and like everyone's starting to be like, oh my god, like. How easy is it? Like, is it really that easy? Is it really that scary? And the answer is yes. I mean, it really is.
As long as you have an employees, those are usually your employees are usually the weakest link.
Yeah, so. It's just, I don't know. I'm a big, I guess, researcher in cybersecurity and following everything that's going on in the world, and I really think that the future is going to revolve around everyone having some sort of protection. I mean, you have to, like. As someone who's gone through the ringer with that type of stuff, you aren't as secure as you think you are. Don't let your ego get in front of you. Like there's people who do this all day, every day, who can get into your accounts in a matter of seconds if they want to.
Yep, I agree.
And it's like, that doesn't scare you. I don't know what does. I mean, that
keeps a lot of people up at night. A lot of CEOs of companies or owners of companies up at night.
Yep.
So.
Stressing. So let's get into the backstory a little bit. Why insurance? What got you to dive into that world, especially, it being one that a lot of people don't succeed in, but you found a lot of success in it?
So I've worked in various industries throughout my life, and I've always just it just seems like I've always gravitated back to something either in insurance or technology. And I used to work, I've been in insurance for over 4 years. I used to work for an Allstate-owned subsidiary. I don't know if I should say this. But I was working for this company, and I was such a top salesman. I left and I went and was doing consulting across multiple states with a local owned IT, they're called a value-added reseller. So they resell like hardware and software, pretty much anything IT related they would sell. So I used to work for them for a while, and then I went back into insurance. I got rehired by that same company I'd worked for in the past, and I was always a top performer, and so that's why they took me back. But it got to the point where the company just started pushing us to sell insurance policies that weren't even worth the paper they were written on, and I was losing sleep at night. And it got to a point where, like, for months straight, I was just sloughing work and just going biking and, like, calling in sick. I just wasn't being a good employee. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. I can actually do this better than them. And then that's how my agency was formed. So I was just tired of people getting taken advantage of, or, there's, like, this meme that's out there that's like, oh yeah, I bought my I called and got an insurance policy from a 1-800 number, And the other guy on the phone just like, yeah, let me sell you, and then I'm never gonna freaking talk to you
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So I never wanted that to be an experience with my clients, and you know, we're always accessible to our clients, and so that's kind of the backstory of that. But kind of to we'll leave it at that. But that transitions into my marketing company too.
Yes,
bit, so.
which you did have a nice comment in chat. Said, "Good for you. The world needs more like you," and I agree. Yeah, let's dive into, so from insurance agency now getting into social media.
Mm-hmm.
So how has that been for you?
It's been incredible. So let me they're cohesive. They work together, right? So when I was opening my insurance agency back here in 2019, I wanted a way to differentiate myself. So I took a look and was like, what do the top insurance agents do differently compared to everyone else, right? So the top insurance agents work with mortgage loan officers and real estate agents because they need home insurance to close their loans. So why not me? So I took a deeper look at that relationship, and I was like, holy crap, this relationship's very one-sided. I've owned a marketing company. There's been a marketing company in my family since 2014 that sat dormant, that I reactivated when I opened my insurance agency. And I went and I bought a program. I can't say that all my success is all me, but I've taken it definitely to a next level. I've had a lot of mentors in my life, like Stu Heinecke. He's the Wall Street Journal cartoonist. He's done 2 books. He's about to finish his 3rd book. We reconnected here a couple weeks ago. He wrote the book, How to Get a Meeting with Anyone, and then his 2nd book was Get the Meeting. And I just recently found out, like 4 months ago, that he put me in his thank you acknowledgments in his book, and I was just like blown away by that, because what I used to do back in the day, and I can explain more of this later on in the conversation, but I'm really, really good and well known for being a master email marketer. I would say I'm at the mastery level of email marketing, and and how I got to be that way was when I was doing that IT consulting, right? IT executives and IT directors and IT professionals do not pick up the phone no matter how many times you call. So I'd get really creative with email, right? And so there's some specific things with email that I'm really good at. I'm really good at creating campaigns, but I'm really good at automating the process too, to make it look like it's legitimately coming from me. Right. And it looks like I'm replying to the original message, but it's all automation.
Which is very
so handy. They think I'm being persistent, but I'm just working smarter, not harder, right?
Right.
And I used to set about 20 to 25 appointments a week by doing that, and that's how I would scale my
Which, for those of you who don't
business.
realize, that's a lot of meetings.
So
that's a very strong number of meetings.
So going back to that, so I would say, so Stu Heinecke, there's a guy here locally in Utah I would consider one of my mentors. We're going to go to lunch here soon. His name's Steve Rich. He owns our marketing. He's one of 13 certified master guerrilla marketers in the world. There's only 13 of him. Kind of his backstory was he was trained by Jay Conrad Levinson, the original guy that created guerrilla marketing. And Jay was writing a 2nd book before he could finish it, and ended up passing away. So Jay's wife came to Steve and said, hey, would you mind helping me finish this book? And Steve was happy to be kind of the ghostwriter to write the book. And pretty much all the other 12 certified master guerrilla marketers, all of his students, you know, like as a way to get back to their master, they were able to write their own chapter in the 2nd book.
That's cool.
But what actually happened is when the book got published, Steve Rich's picture was on there and his name and everything. So, and it became like a New York Times bestseller. He's the one that got interviewed for it. And then also, I would say 2 other influential people in my life would be Louis Allman in Florida. That dude, like, I think I'm smart, and then I talked to him, and he's like, dude, like, your $20 lead I can get for 20 cents. Oh. I'm like, dude, teach me the ways, master, right. Please teach me. And then Nato Gerardo in Texas, he was Lewis's first. Lewis was his first student. So I've just had really good mentors in my life, throughout my life. But pretty much what I had done was I generated leads as a way to get back to the loan officers and get my foot in the door to build a relationship, because, you know, I've kind of coined this term, you know, relationships are the greatest form of currency. I totally 100% believe that the person with the most friends in life is going to win.
200% agree.
So I wanted to be that type of guy. So I used to give leads out for free to loan officers to get my foot in the door, build a relationship, and then get their organic business, because their referrals, I close at 80+% when they refer me. So I'm like, well, if I come in here providing value that no other insurance agent's doing, then I'm going to get the business. So it started off that way the first year. I did it for free, but there were some firms that I made like $14,500 my first year. So I've taken it to the next level. So I was like, how can I take this to the next level, right? And so now I pretty much give my program to the loan officer and help them attract their ideal referral partner, which is real estate agents, right? So I've developed a program and processes and procedures to help the loan officers attract real estate agents and get their organic business, just like I want their organic business that's 80+% close rate. I want to help them get that business back from the realtor, because at the end of the day, guess what? When they get those referrals, they still trickles back down to me. Yep. So they pay me and they refer me. So
genius.
Tons of success stories. I took a brand new loan officer here in Utah. This was when I was first testing out my program. She took one of my strategies. She got 20 realtor referral partners in 3 weeks, and they sent her 5 deals. So she paid me a $100 consulting fee for that. She made over 20 grand.
Right.
So I have tons of stories like that all across the country. Pretty much use my email marketing. I can send out an email and I can get 5 appointments, and pretty much I have 100% close rate. If anyone sits with me, we're getting a deal, and I don't.
Yeah.
So like, it's just a no-brainer, because there's all these marketing companies out there that, you know, they take the money from these loan officers and they don't get them results. So, but I actually help get results, because that's where we are. I'm wearing this hoodie. It's, you know, TNT social media, where our slogan is ignite growth, and that's exactly what we do. We do it in a very fast manner, and we just have systems and processes. When we onboard a client, I teach them how to automate as much of the process of reaching out to the realtor referral partners, essentially just clicking a button or going on LinkedIn, providing them a list, providing them with strategies. It's just about casting a wide net. So even if they send out 300 messages a day, all we're looking for is 1% response. That's 3 meetings a day. Yeah, how fast can that scale your business? Pretty quickly with that many realtor referral partners, because they say the average realtor referral partner is worth over $40,000 a year if you find the right ones. So,
I mean, just back to what I said about the insurance, educating. That's what you're doing. You're educating, and it's just so valuable. I don't know. And the relationships are the best currency. I mean, really, if you are building good relationships with, even if it's strategic partners, like you're gonna end up in a good place. I mean, it's just, I don't know. If anyone's listening and you feel inspired, you should. You really should.
We're gonna get into some more stuff here, so I've been looking forward to this for weeks. So I'm glad that Wes invited me to join on here, and we have a lot more to talk about. But yeah, I've got all different types of systems and processes, and you know, just to kind of give you an idea, just to kind of be vulnerable with people, I was actually looking at closing shop and going and working for another marketing company. And then I just reached out to them recently, and now we're white labeling their product. And I was like, not to be spiteful, but I reached out because I wanted someone on their team specifically dedicated to me, the people that I talked to and interviewed with, but they didn't hire me. I was like, thank you so much for not hiring me. I'm like, last 30 days, I built a 6-figure marketing agency, and we're on pace within 6 months to be at anywhere between $1.5 to $2 million in 6 months of just creating this program and scaling it, and just having people in the wings to bring in to support us as we scale that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, you know, me as a person, like my plans with my organization is I want to do a lot of philanthropy. I have that's just built into who I am, and we'll get more into that later on when we discuss more spirituality and why that's. I feel like I've been awakened, right? And I've just always said that. I used to tell my little girlfriends back in the day when I was really little that I was going to make it big one day so that I could help heal the world, is what I used to say. And then I also would tell them, and it still pulls at the heartstrings of the gals that I date nowadays, but like that I also wanted to, you know, find my little princess and be your Prince Charming, you know, and just that melts their heart nowadays. But yeah, it's an exciting journey. I'm very pumped, and we're just adding more services as we go on. But we're just focusing on the bread and butter right now. But we have a lot of exciting stuff that we're going to be working on to help them scale even more with different areas that they're not very good at doing. So
right, because I love hearing about that vision, because I think at the end of the day, money can be only so fulfilling, right? You can have all the money in the world, but
yeah, it's funny because before I came here, I was listening to a song by Joe Walsh. He wrote an album called Analog Man. He's the original guitarist from the Eagles. He's married to Ringo Starr's sister, really cool guy. He has a song that's called High Roller. So if you want a good song, go look that up. But he's like, what's the point of like your money can't keep you warm at night, right?
Yeah.
So that just brought that up. You know, you could have all the money in the world, but you'll if you're alone, why does it matter?
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can't have a stimulating conversation on Benjamin Franklin. He's dead. You know,
that's funny. You bring Benjamin Franklin to that because he founded one of the original insurance companies.
Yeah.
So
it's just, and I think I see that more and more with people who are, how do I put this lightly? People who are on a higher level mindset, right? Because I always see, they're like, yeah, the money's great. I wanted the money.
Money's just the tool.
The money's the tool. The real fulfillment is when you can start giving back, when you can start helping, when you can start building that bigger picture of like you said, healing. Like, it's just, I don't know. That's why I do a podcast. It's I don't want all the clams in the world, as one of our friends says. I want to be able to take people out of, if they're having a bad day, and give them something that will entertain them for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, get that mindset, just have something fun to do, build a community of like-minded individuals who want to help each other. And I think I feel like that's better than any dollar.
I agree. You know, I say this to all the, you know, I call them my team members or my soon-to-be employees, but I tell them all the time, like, if I could make it big and I had to give all my money away just to, you know, help a bunch of people, I would do it in an instant, because that's just who I am.
Yeah. So
I just see money as a tool, and I need to be able to help myself before I'm able to help tons of other people all over the world. So
and I feel like there's this weird thing when you start making a lot of wealth where individuals look at you and like spite almost, or jealousy. And the reality is, like, a lot of people, when they start making a lot of money, they have good intentions.
Or they don't, and they let the ego, we call it the ego, get to their head and let that run rampant.
I think the ego, though, is the vocal minority. I think a lot of people, when they make enough money to feel stable, where they don't have to stress about house bills or car bills or anything like that, I generally think they realize, like, oh, well, why am I not helping?
Yeah, like, now it just seems like I just go out somewhere and I'm like, it's like take a girl on a date, and I'm not stressed about like the money, or I could buy something like that I want to reward myself for all these sales that I'm doing. Yeah. The way I look at it is like, I'm very good. I can just go out and create more money.
Yeah.
Because I'm just leveraging. Everyone has their own mastery. You're a master of something. You're a master of something in your life. Just figure out what that is and figure out how you can make money doing it. Or if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to, you know, provide insights or my connections, or I have tools and things that are outside my marketing company that are helpful, and maybe I can help you. So I just love to help people. That's just who I am.
You did have a question from Call Sign Monk in chat. He says, how do you meet your mentors?
So Steve Rich actually reached out to me specifically and asked me to come and join one of his, he hosts like these little get-togethers with these businesses, and we help one another like brainstorm guerrilla marketing ideas, and he teaches us all the best practices. And we're only allowed to give good ideas. We're only allowed to give, we call them green light ideas. We don't allow red light ideas. So that's how I met Steve. I met him through a bunch of networking groups. So networking groups, some of the mentors specifically in Florida, in Texas, I met them through a catchy Facebook ad. And honestly, it's just, I go out looking for people because, like I said, everyone's a master at something, and I just try to learn what I can from those masters and master it if it's possible for me, or at least get it to a good foundation. I wouldn't say could get it to a mastery with everything, but it's good to have those mentors in your life that you can kind of rely on, bounce ideas off of, or if they've gone through different experiences, you can kind of learn from their mistakes, right? So
now I'd like to add a caveat to that. I'd be very weary if you're actually actively looking for mentors to not get caught up in like the world of coaching.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of fantastic people who sell their experience as coaching, but it is such a flooded landscape right now where individuals are charging a lot of money to basically tell you information that's free on the internet.
Yeah, one of my mentors, who's actually your friend, Morgan McKell, and one of the sponsors of this podcast, we always say this, real recognizes real, right?
Yeah.
So we know, like, when these people that,
you can see right through it.
Yeah, it's like there's, like, for example, I just recently learned about this couple that ran these retreats for people to help them save their marriages, and then next thing you know, they ran this retreat, and then right after the retreat, they got divorced. Like, it was kind of ironic. So it's like there's a lot of I would just like to say probably a lot of phonies out there that they're just these people that, oh yeah, I'm a life coach now. Well, how can you coach me if you don't even have your life in order, right? That's
exactly.
What I feel. Or what have you done to, have you ran a successful business, sold it, or are you running a successful business? Like, are you on top of the game? Are you staying current with what's going on? Because things change. So
I look at it as a success, or I look at a mentor as someone who is willing to be vulnerable with you and tell you about their fails. I think that's super important because
I fell 99%. I look to fail 99% of the time and win 1% of the time.
That's the thing I'm
a professional failure.
That's a whole different discussion. People who are so afraid of failure, you're never going to grow. Failure is a part of life, and especially if you're doing things on your own terms. You're going to fail, but it's how you rebound. You fail forward. You don't fail back. You take that experience and you bounce back. Some are harder than others. But it's just, it all comes back to mindset. We do have a question from Staley Outdoors. Do you have a system of questions that you like to ask these mentors that you have found to get you, that you have found to get the most of your experience with them? I think that's very dependent on who you're talking to and what you're doing.
Yeah, it really depends on the subject matter. So, me personally, I'm just a lifelong learner. So if there's something that I want to learn about, I go find the best people that are highly recommended, or you look them up, you find a lot of good info on them. You can talk to previous people that have worked with them in the past, get their intake from them. I found that that's the best way to do it. Is like, if you want to learn something specifically about something, go find the top 10 experts and interview them.
Yep.
And the questions can vary, but because it depends on what you want to learn from those mentors. And if it, say for example, the program that I bought, a lot of people would be like, $5,000. I'm like, dude, I made that last week.
Yeah.
So like,
it's
a different mindset. Like you gotta it's a lot of it's like Facebook and Google, like it's pay to play, right? So whatever it is you want to learn, go out, research the top people in those subjects, and then you kind of, the questions, like I said, they vary from person to person, but like I would ask stuff like, what have you done recently? Who's someone that you've worked with recently that I can talk to? What results are you seeing in the today's current market, or whatever it might be, would be what I would do. So hopefully that was helpful. So
and I would also, we have to start educating the mindset shift of like programs being too expensive, because let's be honest with each other, right? Let's say you wanted to go to traditional schooling, okay, and go to university and get a degree. Mm-hmm. You're pumping what, 40 to 80 grand if you're not going to go for something crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Or do you go and find an expert in whatever field you're passionate about, and he's going to train you, give you the experience, the knowledge for $5,000? Mm-hmm. You take that every day. I personally hold the belief that we're going to be shifting away from the typical university style of learning, and it's going to be more tech schools, pop-up schools,
I agree,
programs, like all that type of thing.
Because moving towards, that's what I said. I was like, what's like the even point of like these universities? Why not go learn a trade?
Yeah,
it's becoming a trade.
Well, yeah, right? I mean, and like For example,
even that's going to get outplaced though by automation and technology. Though it's very scary, some jobs that are going to be going away here in the next 10 to 20 years.
It's gonna be weird.
So yeah, it's gonna be really weird.
Weird times.
So the future, that's another subject.
Yeah, that's another subject. The future's a little scary, but also very fascinating. I mean,
I think it's exciting.
Yeah,
so,
it's gonna be.
That's just because of who my spiritual side is, that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Here soon.
Well, we can dive into that. So before we get into where you're at spiritually now, let's go back to young Keaton. Let's go back to let's say right out of high school Keaton.
Oh, can we go back further when I first pretty much became a salesman and I taught my cousin?
Yes, please. Let's start there.
Sure. So my first sales job ever. So I'm a part of a networking organization called BNI, and I just recently joined that, and it's brought up some really interesting memories. Like, my sales career started when me and my cousin. My dad is really well known for bowling. My dad's in the Hall of Fame in Utah and Ogden for bowling. So he's pretty much ran every single bowling alley in Utah. But at one point, he ran the one up in Morgan called Parkside Lanes. And me and my cousin, we used to draw comic books with crayons for people when we were I was probably 6 and he was probably 5, or we might have been older. I can't remember the exact age, but you get the meaning of it. But we used to draw these comic books, and then we'd go and sell them to people for $5, and then we'd actually walk down the road to I don't know, like a thrift store almost. I don't even know if it's there anymore, but. And we'd actually buy real comic books with that money. So that was our first introduction to being hustlers and doing sales was, drawing comic books and selling them to people. So it was a lot of fun. So from there, I've just, we're all in sales. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You're either selling or you're being sold.
Yeah.
Always. So you sold yourself, even if you're not a salesman. You sold yourself to the company that you got your job with, right? You had to sell yourself in that job interview.
Yep.
So sales is everywhere. So
you have to, if you don't know how to at least sell yourself, not in a joking manner, it's going to be tough out there for you.
I agree. Yeah. People, what was that thing that Simon Sinek says? People don't buy they don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Yeah.
So they buy you a lot of the time. That's my company. They don't buy, for the longest time, I didn't have a website, and I don't have employees. It's just been me, right? And now I'm going to start hiring employees, and like I said, we're going to scale to $2 million here in the next 6 months very rapidly. And I've got people waiting in the wings to bring them on to help with that scaling. But at the same time, Morgan, I bring up Morgan McKell, one of the sponsors of this as well. He's like, dude, just go sell. Stop worrying about building your website and your logo. And I'm like, you're freaking right. So that's what I started doing. Our website's not even done. It's gonna be done this week. We paid someone to do it. Our logo is paid off now, and we like our logo. That's, as you can see here. And instead of just focusing on that stuff, you just focus out and go and sell what we're doing. Because people aren't buying my website. They're not buying my logo. They're buying me.
Yeah.
And what I bring to the table, because the company was founded on helping the little guy, the brand new loan officer, be able to scale their business, because I was tired of these other marketing companies out there selling them garbage leads for $35 leads when I can generate those same leads for 50 cents.
I love the mindset, and it's tough a lot of people just get stuck in this, everything needs to be perfect before I start. Mm-hmm. And the reality is there's no such thing as perfect. And let's look at some of the biggest businesses that are relevant today. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google. Did they wait for Apple? Did they wait for their logo? Did they wait for their website to be perfect? No. You know what they did is they launched them, and they were kind of shit, and then they just revamped them. They kept revamping them. Go look at the first Instagram logo. We look at it now, and it's like, oh, that's what it was? So clean and fresh now. Yeah. Don't wait for perfect to come, because it's not going to come. Build to perfect. You're going to do yourself an injustice if you're waiting for something to come to you. Mm-hmm. You're going to wait forever.
Yeah, it's like that just brings up, I was in a Clubhouse group chat, and there was Elon Musk was in there, and someone's like, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur that's needs encouragement? And he's just straight up said, don't start a business if you need encouragement.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
You just got out there. You just got to get out there and put your nose to the grindstone and go to work, because
Oh.
You know, people buy me. They're buying into me. At some point, you do definitely need those because I'm starting to get those questions now. But like for the first 50 clients or whatever, just go out there and make money.
Yeah,
that's how you're going to grow your company. So
it's like you're creating confidence too. That's the big thing that is tough for a lot of individuals is like going into your first meetings, going into your first sales, going into all that stuff is very nerve-wracking. But close a dozen. See how you feel then. Then it just turns into...
It just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, it just turns into life. Like, you just get good. Like, I know that's a meme. Get good. Like,
get good, yeah.
You really do. Like, you just... It's like anything in life. If you go work out 5 times a week, are you going to be buff in a month? No. Are you going to be buff in 6 months? No, but you're going to see progress. You're going to be buff.
It's just incremental.
Yeah.
Just having that mindset of, this is just, we're building up, and at some point you're just gonna go.
I think a lot of people, especially in America today, with how everything is instant, right? Like we get those dopamine.
Yeah, instant gratification. Right?
We get that dopamine really quick on the cell phone, and like everything. Like we could order DoorDash right now and have food in 30 minutes from our favorite restaurant. Like everything is instant now.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we start looking at bigger pictures of like our longevity, our health, our finances, that shit doesn't happen overnight.
You gotta work at it.
You have to work at it. It's the small steps every day.
And my dad had always taught me this lesson. Like he said, Keaton, like owning a business or just anything that's worth anything requires hard work. He said anything that was if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yep.
So
100%. If anything's easy, everyone's already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's hard, guess what?
They ain't doing it.
They ain't doing it.
They're outsourcing it.
Yep.
So just someone that's willing to do it, that knows how to do it.
Yep. It's really that simple. It honestly.
It really is.
When you look at it, just I don't know. Write it down. It makes sense. I got my dopamine fixed by buying plants. Yeah. Well, plants are cool.
Plants are cool. I just put one in my office, so
What'd
I appreciate the plant. It was actually from my friend who's a marketer. It's funny. He sent me I don't know anyone that does this anymore, but he sent me like a kit since I bought a website and bought my logo from him. He sent me like a bunch of snacks, a mug, and like a little stuff. His company's Rebel 8 Marketing. He does websites and a bunch of other stuff, but like, yeah, he sent me like a gift basket. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And there's this like little fake plastic plant. I'm like, and one of my like, if you haven't heard of it, like, I bought someone recently. Go look up zombie plant on on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally can like touch them and it dies, and then it like a minute later it grows back. It's really cool.
B. Burton chats with my wife, and we're super into plants. Like, how many are you up to now? She just bought some today. I think we're at like 58 houseplants or something like that. And it's just there's also a weird world of lots of money to be made in the plants.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize this. We went out to sidetrack. Sorry, guys. We went out to Orem, Utah, and they had what's called a Variegated Monstera, which is a Monstera is like a Swiss cheese plant for the more popular term, but it has like white in it. Take a guess how much they were selling, just like a cutting of it. So it was just like 2 leaves that were growing that were rooted.
$1,000.
Like 2,300.
Holy crap!
I think it was
Give me that plant. I'll sell it. I'll market it.
Right? Like, I had no idea the world of exotic houseplants was booming. I bought 4 today. So
man, screw Bitcoin. I'm buying that.
That's what I'm saying. We're throwing the money at the plants. So back to growing up here in Utah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which will lead to spirituality talk. There's a prominent faith here in Utah. LDS. I talk a lot about it here. Pros, cons, people coming on and tell their positive stories, people coming on and telling their negative stories, and where they lead, where they are at in their lives with it. So I'm curious with you. You grew up here in Utah, a part of LDS, but not really super active or anything like that.
I mean, I was for the first like 15 years of my life. My dad's been like the father figure. That's how my parents met. My dad served his mission in Alaska.
Oh, awesome.
So that's how he met my mom. So, but like I'm the second youngest of 6, right? And I just haven't really been active. I'm not like a huge fan of like organized religion. I definitely like when I do go to church, I go to a non-denominational church because I don't really like organized religion. But I've also become a lot more like spiritual in nature within like the last like couple of months. I would say it's been quite the transformation. And I've just been on fire, and we'll get more into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the church does a lot of good things.
Yes.
The thing that I will say about the church, and I think this has been said on this podcast before, you know, I like the principles of almost any religion, right? Like I think there's a lot of good in a lot of religion. And the problem stems down to people, right? The church and the religions are perfect, but the people in them are not.
Right.
So that's where the problem lies. I feel like is in the people.
I agree. 100%.
And I just want to love everyone. That's who I am. You know, let's just love each other. Like if we were to take all religion away and say we just live by the 10 Commandments, you know how awesome of a world this would be.
Life would be great. Life would be great. Because I mean, at the core of it, like I agree with you. The core of most religions is fantastic. The lessons that are taught,
the principles,
they're all great. You know, be kind, be a good person. Don't like it, it's very
don't kill,
simple.
Don't
yeah,
covet thy neighbor's wife. You know?
don't. It's very simple ideas that would be so prominent, but the problem is somewhere it gets lost in translation with individuals.
Yep.
And here in Utah, we live in such a weird climate where it's. I like to think that it's still vocal minority that puts a bad name on the church, but it's tough. There's just there's a lot of hate in this state for things that are.
I'll always reiterate this, like you know, the church is perfect, the people are not. The church is a hospital for sinners. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not really active in that religion, but that's why I'll just leave it at that. That's my beliefs. So.
I like that. Yeah. So let's. High school, you kind of stopped around 15. I imagine you graduated high school. Did you do college at all?
I'm about 3 classes away from my bachelor's degree in
nice.
information technology management. So, yeah, back in high school, I used to run both the business clubs at the same time. I started the high school bowling club, you know. I was put in the yearbook most likely to be a millionaire, and I didn't start to realize that was even going to be a thing, but I've just been awakened to it since 03, 04. I was working a job. I wanted to do some consulting and working for this company, and they ended up letting me go here 03, 04, and they're like right around the corner from my office. It was this really cool tech startup. They're making watches that automatically detect people's glucose levels, so people with diabetes.
Oh,
very revolutionary technology. Like nothing like this though. They have a lot of patents that it was about to be launched, and I was working at night there because they would let me work on business and things like that. Because, yeah, and I mean I hit rock bottom because of COVID. My companies both of them almost went under. I was about to shut down, go work for that marketing company, or just get a day job. My mom's like, no, you're not doing that. You're my last hope for retirement. So she actually had access to her 401k, and she said, I can take money out without any penalties. And I've only taken maybe $1,000 from her. And something ignited in me. I've just been learning all about myself. You know, I've been on a very spiritual journey. I'm even wearing like a crystal. And then I've learned, like, I have a painting of a shark in my office. It's an original painting from an artist. And the sharks, I've just always been attracted to the sharks. They've been my spirit guide. I've got a hippo paintings of the universe in my office. You know, I've just been on a really interesting spiritual journey. I've learned that I'm a starseed. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term, what it is. So like they're pretty much what a starseed is. They've been like reincarnated. Like if you believe in reincarnation, there are people that have been reincarnated from other planets that are on this earth. So specifically with me, the starseed that I am, because there's people from different planets, what's referred to as an Arcturian. So I talk about all this stuff. I didn't even realize that I was this, but like an Arcturian is like a person that comes, I'm going to get into a controversial subject here, but like Alex Jones, he talks about the reptilian people that are here lowering our frequency, and they're in our government, they're all over. So like it just says like I'm here, I'm meant to heal this earth. Like I keep talking about, I've come here to do a lot of philanthropic things, but there's books and crazy things about this, but I'm just meant to, you know, help people. That's just who I am. But yeah, like I've met a lot of really spiritual people. I try to surround myself with them because there's, you know, I was the biggest skeptic of all time, like all that hokey pokey stuff, you know, like people always say, like, but I mean, when I see like I call them my Zen masters, they're there's some of them that one of them that I work specifically. There's only 13 of her in the whole world that does what she does. She just became certified, and she's one of 13 in the whole world.
Wow.
When I see that she's like, yeah, she lets her husband do whatever she wants. We're fine. I've made 20 grand this month. You can do what you enjoy most. Like, it's crazy. Like, manifestation, like, yeah, just angel numbers. If you want to get into that, like, I just started seeing angel numbers, 888, which you can look that angel up. Most recently, angel 33 for me, which just means I'm in alignment, and pretty much whatever I can do, I can manifest. And it's crazy because it's happening.
Right.
And, you know, with the marketing company, it's just been an incredible journey, and I just got to pay respect to, you know, my spiritual side and like who I am and my spirit guides, and it's just all about respect. So
yeah, I don't know a lot of in this realm. I'm not super
neither do I.
educated.
You know, like I said, I just started. So, and I've already learned this much about myself.
Was there a moment, trying to figure out a good way to word this, what was the moment that clicked for you where you're like, okay, maybe there's more to this world that maybe I just didn't realize without, you know, getting too into things?
I pretty much just when I hit rock bottom, you know, and I was like I trying to figure out who I am, right? Like, so I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like, I was just really interested in finding out who I am.
So you just kind of let yourself...
I just open myself up to the possibilities and not be like, oh, this is hokey pokey.
Open your mind. Don't be closed-minded.
Yeah.
Interesting. You have a question. Do you recommend any books on manifestation? I'm super interested. A friend and I were just talking about this. Manifestation is an interesting thing. I had a conversation on a couple podcasts ago about manifestation, and manifestation is a weird one for me because I look at manifestation as a way to, I don't know how to say it. I see sometimes people discrediting their hard work and saying it's manifestation. And that bums me out because I think that the individuals just want to give credit to something because they don't want to give credit to themselves.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Hard work and manifestation. For me,
right.
I've noticed that a few times.
Because I think the conversation we had, which probably wasn't a good example from the person I was talking with, was like, if you manifest like meeting someone, then like it's just going to happen. Like the world will make it happen. And I personally, and maybe it's just lack of experience or closed-mindedness, I don't think that exists.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think that if you wake up every day with a certain mindset, that you're going to be able to manifest that into something? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I think that if you have a strong mindset, and if your mindset is working on trying to manifest your business blowing up or healthy weight loss or happiness or whatever that is,
mm-hmm.
it's going to happen over time because you're thinking about it. So you're going to make steps towards it.
Well, it's taking that thought and putting it into action, right? Like, I did 75 hard. I recently did that. I've lost 43 pounds.
Yeah, you
just
look
kind
fantastic.
of catapulted from there. But specific to your question on any books on manifestation, like I said, I'm very new to this. It's very new. I mean, I gravitate towards different things. Like, right now I'm reading Graham Hancock's Supernatural. I recently went to Colorado, and I've gotten some books. I've just been really fascinated with Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And learning about Stonehenge.
Strange.
I mean, there's tons of books out there. Like, I would just go and look up books and see what you gravitate towards is what I would recommend specifically. But I don't have a book specific on manifestation that I've read or that I could recommend specifically. So
in our chat, we have a couple comments here. It's the dating mantra, don't worry, the right one will come along.
That's funny you bring that up because I literally just came from a date today. So I've been on this spiritual journey, and you know, I've been really like be vulnerably. I've been really lonely. It's been hard to find, because I'm an entrepreneur. It's hard to make time, or well, not even necessarily to make time, but find someone that understands your lifestyle, that's willing to support you. Because I work crazy hours, right? Sometimes like this week, I've slept in my office. I had an inflatable in my office, and I've been sleeping in my office just because I'm working on things that come to my mind that I'm manifesting, and that are just game changers across the country, where I can actually help more people. And it's funny because I've been looking for this person I just went on a date with today, and it's funny because part of doing my marketing company, I did a social media boot camp for real estate agents, and I teach them to open their privacy settings so that when they post stuff on social media, their stuff gets seen by people outside of their friends list, right? So there's more exposure for them. Yeah. And doing that, this gal that I had dated years and years ago, she's been searching for me for like the last 2 years, and she was able to find me because I opened up my privacy settings. So I'm like, there's no way, like she's been looking for me for the last couple of years, and she knows my name. She just couldn't remember my last name and couldn't find me. But I opened my privacy settings, and now she's able to find me. And we've kind of experienced similar, I would say, like trauma in life, and we're healing together. And it's just really interesting to see things come together in that regard with relationships with me, because the last time I talked to this gal was one of my first jobs when I was working at Target, doing really, and I was dating this girl, and I'll never forget her. It's really funny, but I just had police show up on this was when I was back living home with my parents. And we had the police show up on our doorstep. She was 16, and she had ran away from home, and she's been gone this entire time. She just barely moved back to Utah in the last 2 years, and has been looking for me since she's moved back. She was kind of living like that nomad lifestyle. She's been divorced. She has 3 kids now. And we just reconnected. So I'm like, wait, you're that gal that I dated, that we were together and I would talk sweet to, and we were so in love with each other because we were so little at the time, right? And then all of a sudden you just disappeared. You ran away from home, and I haven't seen you it's been 13 years since we last talked, and now we're reconnecting. And it's because of what I did with my marketing company, and that I was putting that out into the universe, that I wanted this partner in my life. And now I have this partner that I'm building this relationship with. So
I really think too, with dating in particular, I don't know if it's specific here in Utah or if it's in general, but I think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves when we go date, right? We go and there's always expectations on both sides of the plate, whether it's, long-term, short-term, for fun, for, friendship, for whatever it is. There's always these expectations. Mm-hmm. I think that's why a lot of the time dating leads to either failed relationships or failed dates, or just nothing happens from it. I really think that if you're looking for individuals, depending on your situation, of course, just go have fun. I'm not saying go have fun in a winky tone. I mean, go have fun. Just go be friends with individuals. Go put yourself out there in situations where you can go and have fun activities. Whatever you're into, go find somewhere where that's publicly done, if you can.
That's what I did recently. Before I met this guy, I was going on these dates, and I was like, even if I get even if I'm I don't feel the connection with this person, they can peek into my world, and we'll see if we make the cake. I still had fun. Even if I paid for it, going down to the Gateway, checking out the Urban Art Gallery, going to Rocket Fizz, going to the planetarium. And then,
great times.
And then going to Dreamscapes. I don't know if you've ever been there, but that place is really
sick. Going this
sick.
Sunday. Yeah.
It's sick. So
I really think that when you take away the expectations, right? Because you have to also think there's no such thing as a perfect partner. There isn't. There's things that you have to compromise with. There's things that they're going to look at you and be like, wish that you did different. But it's all about coexisting and compromising. And people look at compromising as this negative thing. It's not. It's really not. If you really want a partner, it's part of having a partner. No one's perfect. You have to work with each other. You have to have similar goals. You have to be able to grow with each other into, and we're all still trying to figure it out. Just because we're adults doesn't mean we have anything figured out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone who tells you they have it figured out are lying. They're lying through their teeth. Like, it never gets easier. Now, stop. It doesn't come quick, too. I've been in, I don't know, 6 or 7 failed relationships. I've dated.
been divorced twice.
Yeah, I've dated tons and tons. Like, it. But now I'm with someone that I know it's the life. It would be my life, and I'm very happy. And it's just, it comes with time. It comes with learning those things. It comes like, I'm similar with you. You sound like this could be something that is super long term. Like, when it happens, it truly does just make sense. You just see it and you're like, oh wow, this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But dating is a weird one. I think that people...
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Like I said, I go back to what my dad taught me. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
Right.
So...
Can C borrow that blow-up mattress? Sounds like he needs it. God damn it. Funny. What do you think? Okay, let's talk about... I want to finish off on this subject. Like, and please, if you guys liked having Keaton here, let us know in the comments, either individuals who are live who are listening to this later, because sure you would like to come back if people want you back, and I'd love to have you back. What's your future looking like? What are you currently manifesting in your head that you want to see in the next, 6 months to a year? I know that a lot of entrepreneurs, it's hard to look too far because it's always an ever-changing landscape.
It's all about pivoting, right? So,
right.
Specifically for me, I'd like to just hire all these people that are waiting on the sideline because I just want to build this awesome team, this awesome work culture where we give we pay a lot to our employees, we take care of them, PTO, they get a massage membership, they just get a lot of perks, health, dental, vision. I just want to create an awesome company that all my employees love to come to work. They're just all happy. That's where I see myself in 6 months, and then from there, I'm looking into buying a tiny home.
Dude, I'm about it.
I'm all about that tiny home life right now. Like, I really kind of want a tiny home, but I also kind of want to build a bunch of everywhere I do business, I want to build like a tiny home in that state.
Dude, tiny homes.
And then go visit there, and then when I'm not there, Airbnb it or something, or just straight up build tiny home communities and rent them out to people because rent's insane.
Yeah.
And I have a connection where we could just buy the kits for the tiny homes, and my friend could do all the cabinetry and stuff, and we would partner up, and we could cut a ton of the cost out and pay them off either instantly or in the first year, and just be gravy from there.
Have you seen the 3D printing tiny homes now too?
No.
Oh my god, I saw a time lapse of them legit having this ginormous 3D printer, and it's printing a house. I don't know if you guys don't realize we are in the future now. There's shit going on that I'm like, dude, this was in sci-fi movies in the 80s.
There's Arctuarians, who I said I am, that ancient extraterrestrial race that's meant to stop all these stupid lizard people that are here because they're lowering our vibrational frequency. That's what they're very well known for. That's why I'm probably so drawn to technology. They like to use technology to heal the world, and I'm like,
what do
perfect.
We need right now? We need fucking places to live.
We need freaking places to live because there's no freaking homes.
And if you guys...
the rent. I don't know if you've seen that video on YouTube. The rent is too damn high, party.
Yeah,
so
the rent is too damn high.
The rent is too damn high.
If you guys want to look into something super interesting about when he talks about lowering the frequency, this is actually something that has been tested. Now, whether or not it's lizard people, that's a different. That's
just something funny.
Yeah,
to say.
That's something funny, and that there is theories. There's people out there who theorize about that, but that's a whole different podcast and subject.
Yes,
but if you want to dig into a little side conspiracy that kind of revolves around that, look into MK Ultra, and they were testing frequency and vibrations on humans and seeing the effects that it can cause, and it's scary.
Oh yeah, I have vetted. If you want me back on, we'll talk about shoe-spiracy, we'll talk about sea-spiracy, we'll talk about all the conspiracies.
I love conspiracy talk.
So
I love conspiracy talk. Because, like, do I believe in every conspiracy? Of course not. But the fact that there's theories out there that are
it's just interesting. Some of that it's really interesting, but like,
what do you mean by seaspiracy? Like the overfishing stuff?
Yeah, they're killing my spirit guide. It's pissing me off.
Yeah, I had an individual reach out to me. Shout out to Taylor. Sorry, I don't have your name on my top of my head.
I'll come back and talk about. I just see some of the comments here. I'll gladly come back and talk about spiritual things. I'll even bust out my Zen Keaton poncho and wear it.
Oh yeah, I saw the poncho
from Colorado, my little poncho, and we'll get Zenny in here.
She had sent me a bunch of information about the seaspiracy. Well, it's not even conspiracy anymore. It's just fact of the overfishing. Like, it's actually a big deal. And
the microplastics. Let's not even go there. The microplastics. Oh, all the fish we're eating are full of microplastics.
Yep. I mean, we're killing.
Me and my cousin have an inside joke. That's plastic. We have like an inside joke where we just always say,
it's plastic.
That's too much plastic.
It's too much plastic.
That's plastic. That's plastic. Everything's plastic.
Everything's plastic. There's that rice thing, right? Where like there's plastic and like white rice and shit.
Oh, ruined rice for me now.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I've always been fascinated in spirituality because, well, fascinated in spirituality, religion, and all that type of stuff because it's a part of my life that's never existed. I never had a religion. I was never spiritual. So when I get to discuss with individuals who have either been on that journey for a long time or who are just starting that journey, it's interesting to me.
Don't just start off with like ayahuasca or anything like that.
No.
Or even peyote.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because you could do that. Technically, you can do that legal here in Utah, but we won't go into that. But
we can. That's a different podcast too.
Because you can buy membership into those organizations and do it legally here in Utah because then it's protected religiously. But
yeah, that's. I mean, I will personally, without Keaton having a part of this, there are substances that you can take on this planet that are naturally occurring.
Sacred medicine,
and there's a lot of studies around specific ones right now, as well, that are cures for, well, preventatives for PTSD, depression, anxiety, all this type of stuff, but they're illegal for some reason.
That's you follow the money. It's all about money.
And
it's more. They make more money to
fight it than they do.
Yeah, they make more money creating a pill. The pharmacists, like, this is a whole different subject, but they make more money trying to like help it than to cure it.
It's the good people versus the bad people. Bad people are all about the money. Just follow the money. You'll find. Yeah. You'll be sick. But there's specific ones that you can take that have shown potential of boosting your spirituality, and if those are topics that you would like the chat would like to get into, or the comment section would like to get into, be more than happy to do that at some point. But be safe and don't do anything dumb.
Yes,
there's a lot of stuff out there that is very fascinating, and a lot of stuff that can open you up to new things. But be safe is the big thing.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to learn more about those reptilian creatures? Go watch Joe Rogan.
Yeah, there you go. The Joe Rogan.
And learn about the mushroom religion.
Yeah.
So
I love that guy that he's had on, the dude who had his whole career is around fungus. I forget his name. And just hearing his stories, and
I like the Graham Hancock came on there too.
Graham Hancock is the goat.
Man.
He's the goat. All of his research. He fascinates me a lot because he was, I can't remember if he was outspoken atheist or he just didn't believe in God, did mushrooms, and now isn't he Muslim now?
I'm not sure. I just barely learned about him. I'm reading his book though, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
So, and I know he was interviewed on Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, Graham Hancock is fascinating. The other fascinating part is he has his hands in I forget that underground civilization that they dug up. That's a whole thing if you want to get into. That blows my mind. That if they can prove what that is, that could mean that there was potential civilizations like thousands of years before what we thought.
I love Joe Rogan, but I think he's a sellout.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But, when you're offered that much money,
I saw this guy. Do you watch much Twitch?
No, I used to, but more like for like gaming back in the day when I did game. I just don't have time for gaming anymore.
Yeah.
Or Magic cards. I would watch professional Magic players play Magic and stuff, but
there's a guy on here who's arguably the most popular streamer, if not one of the most popular, named Tim the Tap Man. And he got asked about the Joe Rogan being a sellout thing. And his response was exactly how I thought most people would say it. He's like, it's 100 million. I would suck Spotify's dick for 100 million.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, that money though, I would take that money and I would help people, but like, it really depends on what he does with the money, in my opinion. Like,
and I think that people, do I think he's a sellout? I'm like 50-50. If it gets proven that he's catering content because of Spotify, then yeah. Because that's what we wanted, right? We wanted Joe Rogan to leave YouTube so he wasn't tied down.
Well, yeah, you never know at any point they could censor him too.
Yeah.
So that's a problem too in itself. We could all talk about censorship too.
Censorship is the worst thing. I don't like censorship. It's fucking...
No such thing as free speech.
Yeah, there isn't. There isn't. Free speech doesn't
We're turning into communist China.
Free speech doesn't actually exist. We like to think it does, but it doesn't. Well, we're at an hour and 20. Let's wrap it up. Take the floor. Close out anything you'd like. Please plug your business sites, your social medias, where people can follow you, anything.
Okay, first things first. Shout out to Koa. I miss you, Koa. We need to hang out, Koa. So we were gonna tag Koa in this. Koa worked for Monarch Social. I just met him, and I just want to hang out with Koa a lot now, and we can just hang out and pick each other's brains because we're both masters at our own craft and key facets to both of the different organizations that we work for. So, just shout out to him. You can reach out to me at Scadden, which is SCADDENINS.com. That's my website. That also has my number on there, as well as you can just type in Scadden Insurance Agency, so SCADDEN Insurance Agency on Facebook. Soon to come, TNTsocialmedia.com. That's literally what it is, just TNTsocialmedia.com. Feel free to reach out there. You can find me online. It's just Keaton Scadden, so KEATON SCADDEN on Facebook. Feel free to also reach out to me at 801-564-2159. That's my cell phone number, and then my emails are just Scadden, so the letter K and then SCADDEN at SCADDENINS.com, or the same thing, Scadden at TNTsocialmedia.com. And we're more than happy to help if we can. I even have some cool marketing tools if you have anything outside the real estate and mortgage industry, because that's the industry we focus on in my marketing company. I have a really cool tool that will take any video content you create for like YouTube. I can pull in all the Google Analytics, and it puts all the appropriate tags, and it makes your video instantly rank #1 on YouTube. So,
wow! For those of you who are on YouTube like me, that is a service and a half right there. Wow.
It might not be fast because it's just me, but at some point I will help you. I'm helping a couple local artists that have made some music videos, and I just love helping people, helping business owners, and just getting your whatever your master out and whatever message you want to put out into the world. If I can help you do that, that's my life mission. So,
I mean, that's much respect to you. I appreciate you coming and doing this show. I appreciate you giving all the advice that you did and having such a, I don't know, man. I don't know if you realize the impact that you're having, but you got a good heart. I'm sure everyone here would agree, and everyone who listens will agree, and are super excited to see you flourish as time goes on and congratulations to all the successes, and I hope that there's thousands more coming. Everyone listening, go check it out. He might even be able to help you with some of his services. If not, make sure to follow or reach out. He's a great guy to talk to. He'll pump you up in your chat if you need, in your messages if you need. He's on top of it. Coming up for Topshelfers next week is an open week, meaning Friday we'll have a podcast, but my guest is tentative at the moment. All the social media is always linked below, so you can go follow me for what's coming up next. Shadowlands of Utah will be filming starting in June. For those of you who are excited for that, to give an update, and then I will be going back to the typical gaming streams starting on Monday again, and then there will be announcements for a couple new games coming up for the game streams. So hope everyone's happy for that. And our sponsors again, Monarch Social, Dark Prime Collectibles, and Heppius. I appreciate you guys. Everyone, take care. Have a good evening, and I will see you on the next one.